Across the world, streets are filling with anger. Governments are trembling under the pressure of mass demonstrations. From burning barricades to stormed parliaments, the signs of social unrest are everywhere. But why is this happening now? And more importantly, who might be next? What is social unrest? Social unrest isn't just people protesting. It's the moment when frustration boils over, when demonstrations become riots, when dialogue collapses into confrontation, and when society itself feels like it's cracking. It usually happens when ordinary people feel ignored, betrayed, or suffocated, whether by corruption, inequality, rising costs of living, or abuse of power. Add in a spark, a scandal, a police clash, or a sudden price hike, and the fire spreads fast. Current global hotspots. Right now, several countries are in the middle of intense social chaos. Nepal. What began as youth-driven protests turned into a nationwide storm. Government buildings were set on fire, the Prime Minister resigned, and the army was deployed. The younger generation, frustrated with corruption and economic stagnation, demanded change, and they weren't taking no for an answer. Indonesia. In Indonesia, protests erupted over rising living costs, police violence, and political perks for lawmakers. Students and transport workers joined forces, tear gas filled campuses, streets turned into battlegrounds, and several lives were lost. The message: enough is enough. France. Europe isn't immune. France saw the so-called block everything protests, highways closed, trains halted, and barricades burned. The protests weren't just about one issue. They symbolized years of frustration with austerity, inequality, and government disconnect. Sudan and Haiti. And then there are full-blown breakdowns. Sudan is trapped in civil war. Haiti's capital is under gang control. These aren't just protests anymore. They're societies on the edge of collapse. Patterns behind the chaos. What's striking is the similarity. Different languages, different cultures, but the story is the same. Governments accused of corruption or indifference. Economies squeezed by inflation and inequality. Young people disillusioned with politics. Police crackdowns that only fuel more anger. The pattern repeats itself across continents. And here's the uncomfortable truth. No country is completely safe. Even those that appear stable could face the same fate tomorrow. Countries at risk. Let's look at where the next flashpoints could be. Iran. Already struggling with blackouts, water shortages, and economic collapse. Protests are bubbling. If they unite, Iran could see unrest explode again. Mali and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Political repression and rebel activity are undermining fragile governments. Both are one trigger away from nationwide chaos. Lebanon and Yemen, crushed by economic collapse and weak governments. Public frustration is simmering just below the surface. And then there's the Philippines. At first glance, the Philippines looks stable. Democratic elections, free media, lively political debates, but scratch the surface and you'll see warning signs. Corruption scandals have rocked the government, from flood control projects to infrastructure kickbacks. Young Filipinos are losing faith in democracy. Polls show a majority are dissatisfied with how politics works. Transport groups protest fuel hikes, labor unions demand wage increases, and nationalist rallies rise over disputes in the West Philippine Sea. Add in political polarization. Duterte supporters on one side, critics on the other. And you get a volatile mix. So could the Philippines face unrest like Indonesia or Nepal? The ingredients are there: disillusioned youth, corruption scandals, economic stress, and a population ready to take to the streets. All it needs is a spark, maybe a scandal too big to ignore, a police crackdown gone wrong, or a national crisis mishandled. The archipelago may not be in flames today, but the risk is real. Social unrest is like a storm. It builds slowly. Clouds of corruption, winds of inequality, thunder of political discontent. Most of the time, leaders hope it blows over, but sometimes lightning strikes and society itself catches fire. Nepal, Indonesia, France, Sudan, Haiti. These are today's flashpoints. But tomorrow, it could be anywhere, even in places that feel safe now. The lesson is clear: when governments stop listening, when inequality grows too wide, and when the young lose faith in the future, chaos is never far behind. So, what do you think? Could your country be the next to face social unrest? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe and stay aware.